Most people see the blur. I see the physics. I'm Brian Teacher. Let's get to work. Welcome to Full Court Tennis, Vision to Reality. I'm Brian Teacher. Today we're talking about a lost art in American tennis, the volley. I'm going to tell you exactly how the USTA let the transition game die over the last 20 years. But more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. We're going to cover the drills, the footwork, and the exact mechanics you need to build a world-class net game. When you watch a lot of top singles players today playing doubles, what do? They serve and stay back on the baseline. Serving and staying back in doubles? Well, that never happened with wooden rackets, and I'll tell you why. Back then, you couldn't hit the ball Mach 25 from the baseline. If you stayed back against two players at net, you lost the point. The materials didn't respond the same way. The strings didn't bail you out. You had to have a transition game. Today, modern racket technology bails players out. They got massive serves, massive ground strokes. So what do? A lot of them, they hide at the baseline. If you look at the top 100 players in the world today, maybe 8, 10, 12 of them have a truly good volley. That is shockingly low. We lost this technique in the U.S. in the mid-2000s, and I'm going to tell you where it was at. It was at a coaching clinic with Jose Higueras, who was running the USTA player development time. I was watching them play for 2 hours, and I asked Jose, I said, why aren't we teaching the transition in the volley game anymore? And he looked at me and he said, Brian, nobody's coming to net anymore. Why should we teach it? And right there, that moment, that's when the transition game died. So for over 20 years, we've raised players who wait at the baseline instead of taking control of the court. But here's a reality check. Technology might bail out the average tour player, but not the best. Look at the guys winning majors. Look at Roger Federer late in his career. At 34 years old, he realized he couldn't beat Rafa Nadal from the baseline anymore. That lefty forehand didn't match up well to his one-handed backhand. So what did he do? Well, he hired Stefan Edberg. He rebuilt the net game, started serving volley again, and he started coming in sometimes on Nadal's second serve. And guess what? His record against Nadal completely flipped. He was then 7-1 after the prime of his career. Now, if you look at the guys today, you look at Carlos Alcaraz, look at Sinner, look at Djokovic, okay? When Alcaraz plays a top American player like Taylor Fritz, the contrast is massive between their net game. Alcaraz will serve volley 20 times like he did at Wimbledon, and he won about 70 to 75% of those points. And he came in another 20 times during the rallies, and he won over 70% of those. Fritz, 0 serve and volleys. Fritz came in 20 times and he won somewhere like 54%. So that's the gap. It takes time to work and build a net game. And most players just don't put the time in anymore. But the best players in the world, the pinnacle ones, they do because it gives them more tools to win with. So let's talk about how to actually fix it. The biggest mistake I see, club players and even pros, is this. They either don't use their legs, so they have no power, and they just kind of punch at it, or they try to swing at the volley with their arm, which makes it completely inconsistent. Okay, if you're super talented, you might get away with a swinging volley once in a while, but that's not the foundation of a great net game. The first rule, you never break your wrist on the volley. The moment that the wrist collapses, you lose stability. The racket face opens. The ball floats. Now, there is a slight release through the contact, but it comes from compression through the shot, not a loose snap. A world-class volley is not about your arm. It's about your feet, your core, and your balance. You have to learn to volley with your feet. It's a dance. You step in, you're stable, and your whole body, legs, and torso drive through the ball. You're not swinging. You're compressing. You're punching through the ball with your entire body moving forward. To build this, you have to retrain your body. I call it building your net supercomputer, and we do it with a medicine ball. Take a medium to heavy medicine ball. Now, instead of a racket, you're going to catch and push that ball back using your feet, your legs, and your torso. If you try to push a heavy medicine ball with just your arms, it goes nowhere. So what happens? You're forced to stay balanced. You step in, you transfer your weight, and you generate power from your core, not your arms. And that's the feeling of a real volley. Now watch this video.
Stop arming your volleys. If you want real power and control, it starts with the feet. Let's look at the platform. Continental is standard, but Eastern grip gives a little bit more punch through the ball and more meat behind the ball. The key is setting the wrist back and keeping the hands out in front. This creates a strong hitting platform. The racket head stays stable. No breaking through. The wrist stays locked, acting like a solid wall as the ball is punched cleanly toward the target. The biggest mistake players make is trying to swing. This is not an arm motion. The power comes from the body. Watch the footwork. Brian steps out at a 45-degree angle with the right foot, then drives forward onto the left. That weight transfer is the real source of power. The medicine ball drill makes it clear. There is almost no arm movement. The torso rotates, the body shifts forward, and the energy transfers from the back foot to the front. Lock the wrist, step at 45, punch with your feet. For more stroke analysis, check out the Full Court Tennis app and visit fullcourttennis.com. The biggest mistake on the backhand volley is swinging too much with the arm. If you want a heavy volley that stays low and drives through the court, it has to come from your torso and your feet. Start with a continental grip, then set your wrist back with the racket face slightly open. That's your wall. Keep it firm. The key is this: the racket does not cross your body. You are not taking a big swing. You are punching through the ball. Your wrist stays stable at contact, maybe a slight snap right at impact, but nothing exaggerated. Keep the racket on the hitting side and stay on the ball. Think short, controlled, and direct. Now use your feet. Push from your back foot into your front foot as you punch through the volley. That step is what creates the pace. Here's the pro insight. Slower ball, more torso turn. Faster ball, shorter turn. Let your body adjust, don't force a swing. Think of a medicine ball drill. The arm stays quiet, the power comes from the legs and torso rotating. That is the proof. Step, rotate, and punch. Stop swinging and start driving with your feet.
Once you start getting that feeling, now we go to the next level, the 2-on-1 drill. You put two players in the backcourt and you're alone at the net. Their job? To move you, stretch you, pressure you. And this is where real volleying begins, because up at net, everything is about balance. You've got half the time compared to the baseline. The ball is on you instantly. You cannot be flat. You cannot be late. You have to live on the edge, like a lion stalking its prey, ready to pounce at any moment, like you're in the starting blocks, loaded, coiled, ready to explode. You're not waiting for the ball. You're going after it. Every movement is a short, explosive burst. Quick first step, explode, then stabilize through the ball. That's the sequence. They're going to throw you lobs, push you back. You turn, track it, go up for the smash, and then immediately fight your way back in. Back up quickly and forward again. In balance, constant pressure. And now positioning becomes critical. When you approach, you go up the line or through the middle. You don't approach cross court because you open up the whole court. And at the net, you don't volley cross court unless you're ending the point, because cross court creates angles. Angles gives your opponent options. At the net, your job is simple. Take time away, close space, control the middle, finish forward. That's what this drill teaches. That's how you build a real net game under pressure. But here's the reality. Feeling it and actually seeing it are two different things. And that's exactly why I built the Full Court Tennis app. I want you to get on the app and record your volley. Watch your feet. Watch your balance. Watch your core. Are you swinging with your arm, or are you driving through the ball with your body and feet? Then go to the FCT Pro Library. Pull up the pros. Pull up your volley side by side with theirs. Scroll frame by frame. Match your movement to what the best players in the world are doing. That's how you close the gap. That's how you build your net supercomputer. Practice the medicine ball drills, live in 2-on-1, train your balance, train your explosiveness, and start attacking the net again. That's how you bring the volley game back to life. Thanks for joining me on Full Court Tennis Vision to Reality. Now get out there and let's get to work.